Welcome to Quiet Psychology. Think about the last time you walked away from a conversation feeling oddly heavier, like your battery dropped 30% for no clear reason. Now think about the opposite, the rare person who leaves you feeling clearer, calmer, almost charged. How is it that negativity doesn't stick to some people, while others seem to absorb it like a sponge? How do certain people walk into a room and somehow brighten it without forcing it, without performing it? Are they just lucky? Born with good energy? No, they've simply understood one of life's most basic rules. As the great psychologist Carl Jung said, "The darkness you have not met returns to you as fate." High-energy people have met their darkness, their fears, their triggers, the things that drain them, and they've learned to manage it. In this video, we're not just listing 13 traits, we're going deeper. We'll talk about how each trait can be awakened inside you. So if you're ready, let's start with the first key, one that unlocks everything else. 1. The inner sun. Stop begging for approval. The first and most essential thing high-energy people have in common is this: they are their own sun. What does that mean? It means they don't need to orbit someone else to feel warm. They don't borrow light by reflecting other people's approval. They generate their own energy. Pause and ask yourself honestly, today, how many people did you silently wait for to feel okay? Your boss's smile, a friend's praise, a like on social media. And if you didn't get it, did your mood drop? Did your energy sink? If the answer is yes, it means the control of your energy is in someone else's hands. They turn the faucet on, you feel full. They turn it off, you feel empty. That's what approval begging really is. Love begging, validation begging, energy begging. High-energy people break this dynamic. They understand something simple. You can't pour water from an empty cup. First, you have to fill your own cup. So how do you produce your own energy? By discovering what genuinely nourishes you, independent of what anyone thinks. Small rituals that are uniquely yours. Maybe it's 15 minutes alone with coffee in the morning. Maybe it's blasting your favorite music in your car. Maybe it's a hobby nobody gets, but you love it anyway. Those are fuels for your inner sun. Other people might call them silly or a waste of time. It doesn't matter. This is your power plant, your rules. High-energy people build these energy production moments into their day. They stop listening to applause and criticism and start listening to the melody of their own inner voice. Because when you shine with your own light, whether others notice becomes less important. You shine anyway. And when you stop needing, something surprising happens. People start being drawn to you. Because there's a rule in life. Neediness repels. Wholeness attracts. When you are whole, you begin attracting people who are whole. And the people who want to drain you can't get close, because your light disturbs their darkness. 2. The complaint swamp. The art of boundaries. Now you know how to light your inner sun, but there are things in the world that try to put it out. Picture a swamp, a complaint swamp. You know people like this, maybe more than one. For them, the weather is always wrong. The economy is terrible. People are awful. The coffee is bitter. Life is unfair. Their conversations are a never-ending list of problems. And the most dangerous part is this. They try to pull you in. You offer a solution. They give you 10 reasons it won't work. You say something positive. They immediately find what's wrong with it. After talking to them, you feel dirty, heavy, tired, like you stepped into mud and it stuck to you. What does a high-energy person do? They don't fight the swamp. They don't argue with it. They don't try to dry it out. Because they know this truth. If you wrestle a pig in the mud, you both get dirty. But the pig enjoys it. So they walk around the swamp. This is one of the strongest personal development tools. Boundaries. When someone starts spiraling into complaints, you redirect the topic. You listen politely, but you don't pour your energy into it. If needed, You end the conversation kindly and step away. You don't have to be rude. You just have to protect your mental health and your energy. That isn't selfish, it's wisdom. It's like the airplane rule. Put your own oxygen mask on first. Because if you stay energized and steady, you can actually be helpful. You can't save anyone by drowning with them. And remember what Jung pointed to. People often project the shadows they can't face, turning inner conflict into outer complaints. Their shadow is not your job. Your job is protecting your light. Refuse to enter the swamp. Simple and powerful. 3. Opportunity glasses. Changing your perspective. Now, life won't always go smoothly. Sometimes it rains. Sometimes storms hit. This is where trait number 3 appears. The glasses you wear. Here's the secret. No event is good or bad by itself. Meaning is created by the lens you put on it. Some people wear dark problem glasses. Rain means canceled plans and mud. Getting fired is a disaster. A breakup is the end of the world. They see obstacles, flaws, and lack everywhere. High-energy people wear a different lens, opportunity glasses. With opportunity glasses, rain becomes permission to stay in, drink something warm, and read a book. It becomes the smell of the earth, the feeling of renewal. Getting fired becomes freedom from a job they secretly hated, and a push towards something real. A breakup becomes a lesson. Now I know what I need. Now I know what I won't accept. This is not pretending problems don't exist. This is not toxic positivity. It's understanding that inside every situation, there's a hidden gift, a lesson, a door. Think of your mind like a powerful search engine. If you keep asking, "What's wrong?" it will find hundreds of problems. But if you ask, "What's the opportunity here?" it will find opportunities. High-energy people train themselves to ask better questions. Instead of, "Why is this happening to me?" they ask, "What is this trying to teach me?" That shift changes everything. You stop being a victim. You stop being tossed around by circumstances. You become an alchemist, turning experience into growth. Jung believed even your darkest moments contain the potential for transformation. Even depression can be the psyche trying to tell you something. So ask yourself, which glasses do you wear most often? Problem glasses or opportunity glasses? 4. Ghosts of the past, the freedom of forgiveness. Now we reach a step that is hard, but liberating. Letting go of the past. How much weight are you carrying? A friend who disappointed you, a boss who treated you unfairly, an ex who broke your heart, and maybe the heaviest, your own mistakes, your regret. These are like heavy stones chained to your back with invisible links. You want to move forward, but they keep pulling you back. They drain your energy and trap you in yesterday. High-energy people choose to put the stones down. That act is called forgiveness. But forgiveness is often misunderstood, so listen carefully. Forgiveness is not approving what happened. It is not saying, "It was fine." It is not forgetting. It is not letting that person back into your life. Forgiveness is not a gift for them. It is an act you do for yourself. It is refusing to drink the poison any longer. Because resentment is like drinking poison and waiting for the other person to die. But the only one harmed is you. High-energy people know their energy is precious. They refuse to spend it feeding ghosts. They understand the past is not a place to live. It's a school to learn from. You take the lesson, and you graduate. There's no point repeating the class forever. Jung called this the individuation journey, integrating the past, traumas, complexes, shadows, so you become whole. How do you forgive? Think of the person or event. Allow yourself to acknowledge the pain. Don't deny it. Feel it one last time, honestly. Then tell yourself, I release this event's power over me. I will not carry this weight anymore. I take my energy back. It may not happen in one moment. You might need to repeat it. But every time you do, another chain breaks. And when the weight is gone, space opens for peace, joy, and new possibilities. That's when your energy stops feeding the past and starts building the future. 5. The body temple, the physical source of energy. We've talked about spirit and mind, but there's another side of the coin, and if you ignore it, even the strongest mind eventually collapses. Your body. Your body is your vehicle in this world, your temple. Be honest, how do you treat it? Do you give it quality fuel or constant junk? Do you move it or rust it in a chair for hours? Do you give it real sleep or punish it with stress and exhaustion? High-energy people understand body and mind are not separate. They are one system. You can be emotionally strong, spiritually deep, but if your body is depleted, your energy will be low. Taking care of your body isn't luxury, it's maintenance. This doesn't mean you need to become an athlete. It means doing basics well. Food matters. What you eat becomes your energy. Ultra-processed foods and sugar don't just affect weight, they fog your mind and pull your energy down. Movement matters. Walking, stretching, dancing, anything. When you move, your body releases natural feel-good chemicals. Your circulation improves. Your brain gets more oxygen. Even 10 minutes of walking can shift your mood. And sleep matters. Sleep is the sacred reset. Every hour you steal from sleep, you steal from tomorrow's clarity, joy, and energy. High-energy people respect their body because they know keeping the temple strong is a condition for a strong life force. 6. Curiosity muscles, the endless excitement of learning. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you learned something purely out of curiosity, even if it had no practical benefit? After school and work begin, many people fall into a trap. They stop learning. They run the same mental routes every day, like a bus on repeat. And eventually, the world feels dull. Life becomes monotonous. The mind rusts. Energy drops. Because the mind is like a muscle. If you don't use it, it weakens. High-energy people stay lifelong students. For them, the world is a giant playground. Learning creates new pathways in the brain. It keeps the mind fresh and flexible. This doesn't mean you need a degree in physics. It can be tiny. Learn 10 words in a new language. Watch a documentary about a culture you know nothing about. Figure out how a plant grows. Try a simple instrument. Cook a recipe you've never tried. High-energy people don't fall into the "I already know" trap. They know every person, every moment, every book has something to teach. They ask questions, they listen, they explore. This constant learning gives them a childlike vitality because every day has the potential for discovery. Jung suggested that spiritual growth requires openness to the unknown. When you close yourself to new possibilities, you stop your soul from expanding. So ask yourself, how are your curiosity muscles? What small thing could you learn this week just because you're curious? 7. The magic of now. Don't leak energy into regret and anxiety. Where does your mind live? For most people, it's either in the past or in the future. Past. Why did I say that? I ruined everything. Future. What if it goes wrong? Will I be okay? The mind swings like a pendulum past regret to future anxiety. But in that swinging, it misses the only place life is actually happening, right now. The two biggest leaks of energy are past regret and future anxiety. They drain your power from the present into time periods you cannot touch. High-energy people learn to stop the leak. They learn to anchor into the present. That's mindfulness. And it can be very simple. Try it for one moment. Feel your breath moving in and out. Feel the chair beneath you. Notice the sounds around you without judging. That's arriving. High-energy people take micro-return breaks throughout the day. While washing dishes, they feel the warm water. While walking, they feel their feet on the ground and the air on their face. This isn't stop thinking. It's not letting thoughts control you. Thoughts come and go like clouds. You are the sky, not the cloud. The more you practice, the calmer your mind becomes, and the more your energy rises. Because you stop spending your life force on ghosts and imaginary disasters, and this helps you notice life's small pleasures, the taste of coffee, a friend's smile, sunlight on your skin. Happiness is the sum of small moments, and you have to be here to catch them. 8. The generosity paradox. Giving is how energy multiplies. So far, we've talked about protecting and raising your energy like it's a treasure to hoard. But here's one of the strangest rules of energy. Energy is the only thing that grows the more you give it. Sounds impossible, right? If I give my energy away, won't I have less? No. Think of a candle. You can light 1,000 candles with it, and your flame doesn't shrink. High-energy people understand this. They don't hoard energy, they channel it. And I'm not only talking about money. They're generous with attention. They listen to a friend without scrolling, without half-present distractions. Generous with knowledge. They share something useful because it might help someone else. Generous with compliments. They notice good work, a kind smile, a thoughtful gesture, and say it sincerely. Generous with gratitude. They thank the barista, the driver, the cashier, the people who keep life moving. These small acts send a signal. I have enough. I live in abundance. And people are drawn to that. The opposite is also true. The negative, selfish person is an energy black hole, always asking, "What do I get?" They drain, and eventually people disappear. Jung believed one of the deepest human drives is serving something larger than the ego, finding meaning. Generosity creates meaning. So ask yourself, what can you give today without expecting anything back? A smile, a thank you, 5 minutes of real attention. You'll notice something. That small act feeds you too, because the purest giving is often the strongest way of receiving. 9. Drama resistance. Don't get pulled into someone else's storm. Life can feel like a stage, and some people love drama. For them, everything is a crisis. A small issue becomes a tragedy. They fight, take sides, spread tension. Their life becomes a never-ending TV series, and they try to cast you in it. Did you hear what Ashley said? Can you believe what he did? Are you on my side or not? This is one of the sneakiest energy traps, other people's drama. High-energy people don't fall for it. They don't even buy a ticket to watch from the audience. They leave the theater. This doesn't mean you're cold. If a friend has a real problem, you listen and support. But a problem wants solutions. Dr. Rama wants attention. Drama feeds on chaos and outrage. It doesn't want peace. High-energy people know the difference. They stay calm. They don't choose sides. Because the moment you pick a side, you're inside the storm. They protect their emotional space. They understand. Everyone is responsible for their own life and their own reactions. You are not a trash can for someone else's emotional chaos. When you stop feeding drama, drama lovers drift away because you don't give them the fuel they crave. And suddenly your life gets quieter, lighter, more peaceful. Your energy stays with you for your goals, your joy, your actual life. 10. The art of solitude, the power of being enough. Are you afraid of being alone? Most people are. We fear silence. We fear being with our own thoughts. So we seek constant stimulation, phones, noise, plans, anything. Because in silence, things rise up. Our fears, our anxiety, the lies we tell ourselves. High-energy people don't fear solitude. They need it. They know the difference between loneliness and solitude. Loneliness feels like lack. Solitude is a choice, a fullness, a strength. They don't need constant external input to feel okay. Time alone is their recharging time, their recalibration time. Jung talked about introversion as an energy process. Extroverts gain energy through the outer world, introverts through inner time. A healthy psyche learns balance. High-energy people have that balance. They can enjoy coffee alone, go to a movie alone, take a quiet walk in nature alone, not as weakness, as self-respect. When you can be alone without collapsing, something changes. You stop using people to avoid yourself. Relationships become healthier because you don't need them to fill a hole. You choose them. That's moving from the repulsion of neediness to the attraction of preference. Give yourself time. Let the silence be there. It may feel uncomfortable at first, but behind that discomfort is a meeting with your best companion, yourself. And once you build that friendship, you never feel truly alone again. 11. The sacred power of no, the shield that protects your energy. No, such a small word, but for many people, the hardest. We fear disappointing others. We fear looking selfish. We fear missing out. We fear not being liked. So we say yes to things we don't want. Yes to an invitation that drains us. Yes to extra work we resent. Yes to people who consume our time and energy. But every yes is also a no to something else. When you say yes to a draining evening out, you say no to rest. When you say yes to that extra task, you say no to your own projects. When you say yes to that energy drainer, you say no to your mental health. High-energy people understand. No is not an attack. No is defense. It's an invisible shield that protects your time, your focus, your boundaries. They know. A person who says yes to everything can't say a true yes to anything, because their energy is scattered. To say a powerful yes to what matters, your purpose, your health, your loved ones, you must learn to say no to what doesn't. Some people may get upset at first, but those who truly value you will learn to respect your boundaries. And those who don't respect them are often the ones who should not stay in your life. No is not selfishness. No is self-awareness. It's valuing your energy and using it wisely. When you begin using this shield, you'll be shocked at how much control returns to your life. 12. The purpose compass, the power of why. Now we reach the glue that holds everything together. We've covered all these tools, producing your energy, boundaries, forgiveness, curiosity. But without a compass, even the strongest ship gets lost. High-energy people have something that gives direction, a why, a purpose. What gets you out of bed? Just paying bills? Just surviving the day? Or is there something more? Your purpose doesn't need to be save the world. It can be giving your children a better future, becoming excellent at your craft and leaving a mark, creating art that moves people, becoming wiser, kinder, more loving. What matters isn't the size of the purpose, it's that you have one. Because your purpose becomes fuel in your hardest moments. When motivation dies, when energy drops, when you want to quit. A person with purpose isn't like a leaf blown around in a storm. They're like a tree with roots deep in the soil. Winds shake the branches, but the tree stands. Jung warned that one of the greatest tragedies is meaninglessness. When life loses meaning, it loses energy. Purpose gives meaning. So ask yourself the core questions. What is my why? What excites me? What problem do I want to solve? What do I want to contribute? You won't find the full answer overnight. It's a journey. But the moment you begin searching, your life starts to change color. Because now you're not just living, you're living for something. This compass whispers who to say yes to, who to say no to, and where your energy should go. And when you find that compass, you arrive at the final trait, the ultimate secret. 13. If life is a game, be the player. Here's the mindset that ties everything together. High-energy people don't treat life with deadly seriousness. They understand something. Life is a game. Not that they're irresponsible. They simply understand the rules. Sometimes you win. Sometimes you lose. Sometimes you fall, and you get up, brush yourself off, and keep playing. Mistakes are part of learning. Failure is feedback. Most people live like every moment is a final exam. Every error becomes self-punishment. Every setback feels like the end. That creates pressure and stress. And stress devours energy like a black hole. A person with a game mindset becomes lighter. They don't take themselves so seriously. They can laugh at their flaws. They stop demanding perfection. It's a kind of awakening, accepting life's temporary nature, its ups and downs. Letting go of what you can't control and focusing on what you can. Doing your best, learning, adapting. Look back at these 13 traits. They're all skills for playing the game well. Being your own sun equals generating your own energy. Boundaries equals keeping your playing field clean. Opportunity glasses equals turning situations to your advantage. Forgiveness equals dropping dead weight so you run faster. Caring for your body equals maintaining your game vehicle. Curiosity equals unlocking new levels. Presence equals actually experiencing the game. Generosity equals creating positive momentum and rewards. Drama resistance equals avoiding pointless side quests. Solitude equals taking strategic breaks to think. Saying no equals staying loyal to your plan. Purpose equals knowing why you're playing. And being the player equals remembering to enjoy the process, experiment, and trust growth. When your energy rises, your frequency changes, and you begin attracting people, situations, and opportunities that match your frequency. That's the real foundation of the law of attraction. Not wishing, becoming. Now I want one thing from you. Choose one of these 13 traits, just one. And this week, take a tiny step to practice it. Because real change starts after the video, with what you do next. So write in the comments, which of these 13 traits felt like it was written directly for you? Which one touched something deep inside you? And which single trait will you choose to work on this week? I will read your comments because we're not alone on this path. This is a community of people choosing to rise together. And if you want the next step that can transform your mind and your life, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming. Remember, a journey of thousands of miles begins with a single step. And your journey begins today. This is the journey of becoming the master of your energy and attracting the life, the people, and the future you truly deserve. The game has started, and now it's your turn.